Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tech Tuesday webinar. I am your host, Kevin Marheine, joined today by our CISO, Mr. Jim Hunter. Jim will be going through here today and presenting a little bit about SASE. Before we get started with his presentation, I just want to take care of a couple quick housekeeping items. As always, we will be sending out today's recording following the presentation. So if you are tuning in on demand, welcome. Or if you're just checking back to check out the material that Jim presented, of course, that's the whole reason for doing so. So we'll also make the slide deck available as well, so you have access to that. In addition, if you're here tuning in live and have any questions, please feel free to make use of Live Events Q&A feature. You can just go ahead and type in any questions you have there, and when we get to the end of the presentation, Jim and I will do our best to go ahead and answer those questions. Without any further ado, though, that takes care of the boring stuff, Jim. I'm going to go ahead and hand it over here to you and let you walk through the presentation you've prepared.
All right, great. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Welcome, everyone. So, yeah, as Kevin mentioned, just another Coretek Tech Tuesday discussion, and this week's conversation topic is secure access service edge. So as you see on the screen here, SASE is the industry term, but that's what we'll discuss today. And first off, sort of really explain what it is and some use cases around it as well. So yeah, topics for this one, what is SASE really? I think, as you'll see, it's relatively new in the marketplace, only a couple of years old. And by that, I mean, barely 2 years old. Really, what are the benefits and, what use cases, as customers or potential customers of this type of, service, just really touching on some of the high level use cases. And then, Coretek has a couple of SASE offerings and solutions. The marketplace is definitely changing. A lot of the vendors are creating solutions in this space pretty rapidly. As you'll see, it is a combination of a number of solutions. So definitely not shocking that a lot of them are really packaging this together and making a hard charge into this space. It's definitely an exciting space, both from a security perspective and a few others, as you'll see in a few minutes. So really just, starting with the obvious, for a lot of people, never heard the term. So let's just dive into what is SASE. Originally, defined as or coined, I guess, as a term by Gartner in 2019. I think really, it's there for, as you can see on the screen, convergence of security and network services being delivered from the cloud. And before we really dive into the specifics of that, it's really important to understand, sort of the background on the term, that a lot of the existing network approaches, some of the technologies, they just no longer provide the right levels of access, of security, especially in the digital world that organizations are going to. So, organizations going through these digital transformations, they really need an immediate sort of uninterrupted access for their users, and really no matter where they are. So, with COVID, obviously we've seen an increase in remote users, and we've seen organizations really shift to software as service applications. So a lot of the data that you traditionally would see, say in a data center, is really moving out to cloud services. So you've got a lot more organization data that's going out through public internet, going out to public cloud services. You got branch offices that normally would connect directly to a data center that potentially are connecting out to the cloud as well. So the need for a new approach, I guess, in security, network security, in particular, really rose over the last couple of years. So, Gartner, recognizing this, created the term and the category in 2019. So here we are, beginnings of 2021. So we're talking about something that's still relatively new. You can see in the chart here that SASE is really comprised of a convergence of sort of the wide area networking, kind of some of the WAN services, the network services itself, like CASB, firewall as a service, zero trust, and puts it all together really into a single kind of cloud delivered service model. I guess Gartner, gets a little bit more granular and technical, saying the SASE capabilities are delivered as a service based on the identity of the entity, the real-time context, the enterprise security and compliance policies, and the continual assessment of risk and trust throughout the sessions. So, that they go a little further and say identities of entities can be associated with people, groups of people, like branch offices, devices, applications, services, IoT, or edge computing locations. So they try to put some boundaries around the use of the term and sort of what they expect to see as far as services inside of it. But they expect this by 2024, so about 3 years from now, to at least 40% of enterprises will have some sort of strategy to either adopt SASE or at least include it in some of their architecture and design, just given the flexibility that it gives in terms of this. One of the biggest key features of all this, and you'll see it in a lot of the vendor offerings, there's a single management plane for all of this, and that's what really makes this offering really attractive as well. And you can see when you start to look at a lot of these offerings, security itself, how to set policy, push policy out, getting into WAN optimization in addition to some of the security controls, having all of that under one umbrella, under one management plane is hugely powerful as well. The goal here, with SASE is bringing security closer to the edge, and that edge is everywhere that you see in here. It can be out at the web, it can be in the SaaS providers, the public cloud itself, but look at who's consuming all of that. It's your branch locations, it's anybody who's on your Wi-Fi or your remote workers themselves, your data center. And so having some centralized security policies that you can invoke, really helps support a lot of this. Managing branch and remote locations, we've got a number of customers that have branch locations in the thousands. So if anybody's had to live that world and just to update, say, firewall rules across 1,000 different locations, depending on the solution, you can spend quite a bit of time pushing updates out, confirming that those updates were there. This obviously gives a big advantage in that, and then being able to support the SaaS applications on top of that. Moving all of this closer to the edge, really allows you to highlight threats as well quicker. You've got users that are reaching out through public internet, and being able to watch them no matter where they are, the traffic that they're going to, where they're going to, is a huge security feature in this. The SASE security model itself gives you a lot of flexibility, just based on the fact that it is cloud-based. So whenever you implement and deliver security services like threat protection or simple web filtering, you want to impart that web filtering not only on your individual users, branch locations, everything. Well, because it's cloud served, you can do all of that very quickly, just because it is in that centralized location. You can get sandboxing in place. You can put DNS security out there, data loss prevention. All of that comes underneath sort of these next gen firewall and SASE type policies. So definitely gives you some ability to quickly make changes there and know that everyone's getting those changes. A lot of cost savings. So you think about, on that previous slide, all those different technologies, both on the network side, on the security side, instead of buying and managing all these multiple point products, you're really getting all that now delivered as a single platform. So, reducing not only your overall costs, but the resource time it takes to stand those up, to keep those updated, maintain them. You can really simplify your IT infrastructure by minimizing, the number of those security products, and more importantly, the number of products your team has to manage and update. So just another, big advantage to that SASE security model. And then you do get a lot of increased performance. I mean, just taking SD-WAN out of the picture, because that's what it's there for. It's there to optimize user traffic and user performance. But even the performance of home users. I mean, we're competing against various people that are working from home. Kids are all working and taking remote school and other things. And here, people are having to conduct business side by side with that, and giving them the ability as a remote sort of individual user to get the benefits of SD-WAN through that solution as well is big as well. We normally see that type of thing, as you can see on the picture here, through a branch office, but being able to extend that now to remote users, especially those who, like you say, don't have full access to bandwidth at various times, just makes their experience much better. And then, a big thing of imparting that zero trust approach, zero trust approach to literally everything in security, and SASE fits that as well. Especially when you're able to remove some of those trust assumptions with your users, devices, and applications, because the SASE solution generally works at that session level and is able to protect whether that user's at home, in a hotel, on vacation, wherever they might be accessing this from. That SASE solution is able to at least govern that session and provide that zero trust protection that everyone needs. And then just overall threat protection as well. Just again, simple web filtering, preventing users from going to places that we know bad actors are. Extending that capabilities down from the cloud to those users and being able to make changes very quickly. You do get the benefits in most of these solutions where it is a cloud model, so you're benefiting from others as new discoveries are made in the security area. Those rules are updated centrally, and everyone benefits. So let's go and talk through really some of the I guess what we'll call the benefits and use cases for SASE. I think some of them are obvious, some are potentially not as obvious. So we'll spend a few minutes on that as well. That first and foremost, mobile and remote users. So you got a lot of use cases for mobile and remote that you're installing literally a client app on each and every machine or every user's machine. So by doing so, you're really eliminating the need for a VPN connection. The app itself is going to take care of encapsulating any of that traffic and making sure that it's sent securely. And more importantly, we follow that device anywhere it's located. So the SASE app itself will create that secure connection if they're going out to the cloud, if they're going out to the internet itself, if they're going to access one of the SaaS applications that your company has decided to contract with, or if it's coming back to your own data center in terms of applications that you're hosting there internally. So the fact that it can create all those secure connections and the user doesn't have to worry about where they're connected to. Am I on a VPN, not on a VPN? Just by having that application on, gives them that capability. And then you still get your traditional network access controls, so you can segregate users from certain applications, getting there, not getting there. If you don't want users to access certain segments of network, you have all of that full control as well in these solutions. And then the big one we just touched on, the SD-WAN, just helping optimize user experience as well at the remote user level. Something that you don't have to necessarily be in a branch office or on the company network per se to get that experience and uplift from. And then again, the cloud SaaS applications, being able to create specific user device policies. So, for instance, some healthcare providers to guard against, HIPAA data or patient data being leaked out, will say, fine, you can use certain SaaS applications, but you can't use the messaging components of them per se. You have in these solutions the capability to literally fine tune those policies and say, I'll let you use this SaaS application, but I won't let you use the file sharing. I won't let you use the instant messaging component, so you can get very granular. And all that really falls under that cloud access security broker. That's the CASB designation here. You see that in the industry term. So you're getting those features as well as part of this. And then traditional web application filtering and sort of network threat detection comes with it as well, just as another layer of protection over, say, a traditional antivirus. If somebody's trying to access a location, whether it's public, whether it's on a website, that really doesn't have a great reputation or is a known bad threat actor. If your controls that you traditionally see on the machine in a virus or behavioral type controls do happen to not catch that, here you've got another layer of security protection working for you from the cloud. And then the branch and retail office use cases as well. I mean, obviously, with branch and retail offices, especially when you get into a large number of offices, just helping to manage those itself is a huge benefit. And by managing it, I mean everything from your firewall rules to any of the traffic that ingresses and egresses out to SaaS applications. You're really helping that branch office centrally be able to manage that user experience from a couple of different angles. So you do get the SD-WAN uplift there as well. So you're going to help optimize traffic going out to the internet, going back into your own data center, going out to any of the SaaS applications as well. So you'll get those benefits. But you can start to get, a lot of times with retail offices, branch offices, we see MPLS connections. Those are pretty expensive connections. Just overall from a cost perspective, and not having to backhaul all of that traffic. I think with a lot of MPLS networks, a lot of the internet traffic and things like that tends to get backhauled centrally, and so instead you can take advantage of at the retail locations. Maybe they have the local internet providers that offer a really cheap internet connection, and in essence create in some cases what you refer to in a VPN world as a split tunnel, but you can do that here as well and still govern what's going out very easily. So if you have that sort of direct connection out to the internet, you don't have to worry instantly about, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to circumvent our controls somehow? With the SASE services, you'll be able to govern that just as well as you would any other place, and be able to do it centrally. You'll have your traditional network access controls we've talked about, going to any of the data that's egressing, and then getting granular again at the branch level for the SASE applications. So being able to control exactly what the branch offices are allowed to and not allowed to access. In some cases, with retail locations, you do have public users in there in addition to business users. Maybe there's free Wi-Fi offered in those locations. So you have the ability to really segment that population, so to speak, from your business users and put different policies in place there, especially around either web application filtering or are they bringing in network threats as well into your environment, even if they are on sort of a guest wireless or a guest Wi-Fi situation. You still have a lot of control there as well. So just some pretty powerful use cases, and again with this solution having so many subcomponents to it, it's pretty staggering when you finally do look into the offerings available from the various vendors, how much they've really packaged into these offerings as well. So just touching on a lot of these benefits we've already gone through. I'll just talk through a couple pretty quickly, but again, that single solution, and then you think about the control you have under that single solution. Everything from, as we talked about, firewall, CASB rules, web protections, SD-WAN, everything really under one solution. And no matter where the users sit, whether it's the branch office, whether it's at home, whether they're accessing SaaS or whether they're accessing your own applications, you get that centralized monitoring and reporting. Obviously, complexity is much less given all this is located under one solution. You do get to know that your data protection policies are really working everywhere that the users are as well. The lower administrative we talked about, and then obviously better network performance overall, especially when you get into SD-WAN, and you'll see in some of the vendor slides coming up, some do address certain technologies better than others. So it's obviously something to keep in mind as you kind of make your selection process. Get this to roll. There we go. So Coretek does offer a couple of SASE solutions. One from Palo Alto and one from Citrix. So the purpose of this webinar wasn't necessarily to highlight one over the other, because I think for that, as a client, you really need to dive into the technical details with our team and go through that solutioning exercise. I think what you'll find, and I'll just touch on the high points of each and not to dive into them in too much detail, but they all offer similar functionality, but I think, again, getting into maybe some of the investments you've made already, or what it is that you're trying to secure with this, one will definitely stick out as the leader over the other. But in the case of Palo Alto, theirs is Prism Access, and so you can see they're offering, again, cloud delivered security, really down to the service edge, and that edge being what you see on the left there, the branch and retail mobile users, any of their partners, or even kiosks in this case, and governing the things that we talked about there, SaaS applications, public cloud, internet, your traditional data center. For them, just looking at again that single view of the solution. Look at the number of devices and solutions that you can replace. I mean, we already talked through a lot of these: SD-WAN, CASB, remote VPN, proxy, web filters. Kind of the list goes on, and you'll see in a Citrix solution you have a same set of sort of point replacement as well, and that's the value that you see in the SASE space overall. Prism Access, again, served from their cloud. They do utilize the Coretek data lake. That's where all of the logging information, heuristics information, things of that nature do get stored. And again, it gives you that centralized management plane, especially if you're already used to or already have Palo Alto firewalls and potentially using Panorama, for instance, to manage that. You can utilize the Panorama interface as well to manage this. So again, driving into that more singular sort of one point to be able to manage with. And again, just being able to touch mobile users, remote sites, internet traffic, SaaS apps, things of that nature. And then there's the actual components itself. Again, we've talked through that. They do utilize that Global Protect agent as well. And as you can see, we already talked through the logging being out in their Coretek data lake. But I'm going to flip this through and we'll talk through Citrix for a minute, and then I'll get to some Q&A. So, the Citrix solution, their secure workspace access. And again, with Citrix itself, you're getting very similar functionality here. So as we saw in previous slides, governing that SaaS cloud app, on-prem workloads, just general internet traffic overall. And again, users, devices, locations, but enforcing that zero trust model as well as part of this. So again, you'll see their offerings sort of in the center there, all underneath that Citrix Cloud console. So they've got their secure web gateway firewall solution, that CASB solution, a lot of the security controls around malware, filtering, protection, DLP, things that we talked through. And then you can see at the bottom the big SD-WAN offering as well. And I think for Citrix, WAN optimization, is key, especially if you're in the VDI environment, especially if you've already made a Citrix investment. I think, obviously, if you've got Citrix there, this is the solution, that I would start with if I had already made that investment as well, just given the fact that they're going to integrate much better with Citrix itself, just being native. And just a little bit different view, but again, just reminding everyone that with these solutions, everything is being delivered from the cloud, so everything is centralized. So no matter where your users are, your branch offices are, no matter where your enterprise apps are, as far as whether they're on-prem or later on you migrate off to a public cloud provider like Azure, this will follow. And then the same thing if you choose as an organization to bring on more SaaS applications, things of that nature, all of these controls will extend out to all those situations as well. And similar story here on benefits from Citrix and their SASE solution that is cloud delivered. You get that unified management. Deep forensics, again, you are getting a lot of information centrally, gathered for you as far as the security team goes. So security violations, just activity that looks strange, things of that nature, you will get all of that brought back centrally as well. So pretty easy for the team to review. So the big question, which one's better, and not to get into solutions war here, but I think just pointing out a few, obvious things here, and it is what have you made currently in terms of technology investments, or what do you plan on making coming up? If or you're already using Citrix today for VDI, remote desktop type solutions, then to me, that would be the solution I would start with, just given the fact that the deep integrations are there, with that. And a similar thing, if you've made some big investments in Palo for firewalls, that solution I think would be the natural place that I would start. And then, Office 365, what investments have you made there and usages there? Some of the solutions have better integrations there, better user experience offerings there as well over others. And then, getting into the ecosystem discussion, kind of talking through those investments again. If you've, say, deployed Palo Alto's Coretek as an XDR solution, well, that's another one that might give you a check to lean towards Palo. Or if you've got Citrix NetScalers or other Citrix components in your environment as well, that might help you lean another way as well. And then just writing that overall ROI, and that's something that Coretek can help you with, and this is really the point at which when customers are getting serious about making that either that pilot solution selection or anything like that, that we want you to get in touch with us, and we'll really walk you through the detail of aligning on which solution is better. And with that, Kevin, then I'm going to give us a couple minutes, but if there's any questions, we can get to those.
Yeah, and again, if anyone does have any additional questions, please feel free to submit those. We do have a few moments here, so we can get to quite a few of them. But Jim, here's the first question I have for you, and it's a common one I think that we get on the subject, is just around, is SASE cost effective?
Yeah, I think when you really, where you'd be surprised in its cost effectiveness is in the replacement or cost avoidance, I guess, area. When you look at all those solutions that it offers in replacement of, whether it's firewall as a service, whether it's CASB, SD-WAN, things of that nature, you've got some cost avoidance there because a lot of the tools are built in. And then, being able to extend what you have today in terms of network bandwidth and performance, through the optimizations that you get on the WAN and SD-WAN side. So, yeah, I think you take a look at that whole picture like that, and you find that it definitely is very cost effective.
Great. And then when you're looking to do those ROI calculations, what all do you need to take into account to accurately, do that addition for SASE?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, obviously you need to see the breadth of what it is that you're going to apply SASE to. So number of locations, number of users, kind of get your hard costs from each of the vendors in terms of what the solution is going to cost you in terms of that, and then counter that to what we just talked about. What are you going to be able to either not renew or not have to go out and purchase that's going to improve your security posture overall, and then sort of that intangible one of, well, how much more can we extend the life of, say, certain equipment? Maybe it's certain connections out to remote sites that are, generally, fully utilized at this point. You may be able to put off, upgrading that just due to some of the optimizations and things that you'll get from the solution, and that'll give you the big ROI.
Fantastic. And then the last one I have here is just around, you talked about a lot of the benefits and advantages that SASE can provide. As a executive yourself, if you had to hone in on one single one to talk to and really drive home as being the key advantage to one of your fellow executives, which one would you select?
Yeah, for me, it's the extension down to the users. the fact that you can extend all of this functionality down to the users no matter where they are. For me, we are the weakest link in security. We're curious, we're humans, and we make mistakes. So being able to take all of those protections that we saw and really cloud centrally managed protections, and being able to bring those down to the users no matter where they are, that to me is really the big benefit that I see with this.
Well, fantastic. Taking a look here, that really looks like that's going to wrap it up for us today. Before we do send you on your way, though, we did just want to point out that if you are interested in taking a look back at any of our previous Tech Tuesday webinars, we do have our YouTube channel set up, and there is a fantastic Tech Tuesday webinar series playlist that's available. So we've been doing the Tech Tuesday series now since April of 2020 is when we kicked it off. So there's quite a bit of content out there. So if you're interested, again, please head over to YouTube and check out not only our YouTube channel, but especially that Tech Tuesday webinar series playlist. We'll be uploading today's presentation there, along with all of our previous ones are housed there as well. So there's plenty of great info there. If you enjoyed Jim's presentation, he has quite a few there. You can see in the screenshot there's his backup as a service presentation. So quite a bit of content out there, like I said, and certainly love it if you all visited our channel. Feel free to hit that subscribe button while you're there. That's a great way to make sure that you're kept up to date with all of our latest content as it's uploaded. And key with the changes that YouTube has made to its algorithm is there's that little bell symbol there. If you go ahead and click that, that'll make sure that you receive a notification specifically when a new video is published. So would highly recommend that if you enjoyed the content that you saw here today. Jim, just want to thank you for taking the time to walk us through the presentation. And everybody who joined us today, thank you for your time. And for those of you checking us out on demand, appreciate you taking the time to register and view this at your. So that'll do it for today's Tech Tuesday webinar. We will be back next week taking a look at a Microsoft audio conferencing is going to be the topic there. So I'll be joined by one of our solution consultants, David Frey. He walks through some of the advantages and capabilities that exist in Teams for doing audio conferencing. So if you haven't already registered for that, be on the lookout. We'll be sending out invites for that, and you can go ahead and get registered for that as well. But thank you, everybody, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.